Hey, how's it going, guys? We got to talk about this episode. Episode 4 of Ahsoka. I'm seeing a lot of people saying, this is Star Wars. Star Wars is back. George Lucas Star Wars is back. This was definitely the best episode so far from the show. This was the best episode. Things actually happened. There was actual action. There was fight scenes. Was this George Lucas Star Wars? Nah. I really don't understand these people. This was the best episode, but to put this on par with any of episodes 1 through 6, I feel like you got to be a Dave Filoni fanboy to say that, in my opinion. Like I said, there were some good fight scenes. The best fight scene was the fight scene with Hu Yang versus that droid. The droid fight scene, that was cool. That was genuinely cool. I was like, whoa, this is cool. The fight scene you would think would be the best fight scene was Baylan versus Ahsoka. I don't understand. This was like a 30-some minute episode. This episode should have been a lot longer. This was a 30-some minute episode, and they wasted so much time literally just standing, adjusting their poses, adjusting the stances, just standing, walking. You could have cut a good chunk out of that fight. And to say, I remember Dave Filoni talking about this show. Fans know the difference between a good lightsaber fight and a bad lightsaber fight. Fans know, they can tell the difference. So we gotta step our game up with this show. I'm guessing he was referring to Kenobi, the fight scene, the lightsaber fight scenes, and that the choreography was pretty bad. So we gotta step our game up because, I'm Dave Filoni. I'm George Lucas Padawan, right? I'm his apprentice, so I gotta live up to that. The fight scene between Ahsoka and Baylan and his apprentice Shin are the two best things about this show. It sucks that we're not getting much of them. But that fight scene with Ahsoka and Baylan, it did not feel like Clone Wars. I mean, it did not feel like it. Yeah, it didn't even feel like the fight scenes in Clone Wars. It didn't feel like the fight scenes in the prequels. It was very stiff. Again, just like the acting. Even the way, this is sort of minute, but it's a good metaphor. The way Baylan blocks blaster bolts, it's very boom, 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 right? It's very stiff. And who knows? Yeah, that might be a style, a very deliberate, strong style, okay? But the way they blocked blasters in the prequels, it was very fluid. It's instinctual. It was like boom, 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 boom. You know what I mean? It was like, it felt like a Jedi felt like, dude, I want to be that man. Like the way he blocked was like, okay, that looks doable. The way Obi-Wan Kenobi blocks, the way any of the Jedi block in the prequels, they're just like bam, 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 bam. Like it flows, man. Like the lightsaber is an extension of them. It's not a tool in their hands. It's part of them. You know what I mean? I've talked about lightsabers enough in these reviews and how they don't have that impact as they did in the movies. But going back to the fights, we had Sabine versus Shin. And I'm happy. I was scared. In the trailer, we had Sabine put her arm out, trying to use the Force. And I was like, come on, this is good. Is this going to be the moment where, she's able to use the Force and everything? Like, I don't want Sabine to be Force sensitive. I don't like the whole idea, like, hey, everybody has the Force in them. Everybody has midichlorians. Therefore, everybody has some sort of potential of wielding the Force. Then there's no point in having, Force sensitive people or anything like that, right? Yes, everybody has the Force. Everybody has some sort of attachment to the Force. It's in all living things, but that doesn't mean a raccoon can be a Jedi. You know what I mean? So I was worried in that scene when she put her arm out that she was going to use the Force, but she went down and blasted Shin. That was cool. I like that. I was happy about that. And so while that fight is going on, Ahsoka is fighting that Inquisitor, and he gets slashed. And green smoke comes out of him. So I'm like, wait, what's going on? My first thought was he reanimated by the Night Sisters? Or I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know who he is. I'm seeing a lot of theories online. which I don't want to look into because I don't want to be spoiled. You know, I don't want to be thinking in one direction and then I see it happen in the show. But the biggest theory that I've been seeing is that it's Starkiller, and I don't want that to be it. You're gonna make Starkiller canon? Starkiller is not. Starkiller did things that didn't make any sense. He was supposed to be just crazy OP for, you know what I mean? Starkiller being canon makes no sense. Come on. I do want to say, I know I've been knocking at the fight scenes in these Disney Plus shows. The lightsabers, this is probably the best we've seen them in the Disney Plus shows. That actually, it didn't look as bad as Kenobi. These are the best looking lightsabers in any of the Disney Plus shows. Again, still not as good as the movies, but for the Disney Plus shows, for sure. So now let's move away from the fights for a bit and let's talk about that whole hyperspace ring. That was cool. That was cool. At first, I was like, "Hey, wait, okay, so that's a giant hyperspace ring, you know, kind of like what the Jedi starfighters had, and you know they docked in it, and then they were able to shoot off into hyperspace." So I was expecting maybe a giant ship to be docked in there, but that itself was the ship. So it blasts off, and the ships, the X-wings, and all of them that were in the wake of that blasting off got destroyed. That was cool to see. So it's cool to see, like, hey, we're in this dire situation now because the bad guys have the map, they have the ability to, they have the means to travel to this other galaxy, and they did it. So the stakes are high now. What's going to happen? We don't know. So that scene was cool. That did look cool. And okay, so let's jump back into Ahsoka and Baylan. So they're fighting, and Ahsoka got knocked off the edge, and Baylan and Sabine have a conversation. Remember, Sabine's goal in all of this is to find Ezra. So she wants to get to that other galaxy, whereas Ahsoka was like, "Hey, we can't let these guys get to Thrawn, right? So either we stop them, we get the map and we go, or we destroy the map and nobody can go, right?" But that's not the way Sabine thought. Sabine wants to get Ezra. That's her whole point of joining in on this mission. So she gives the map over to Baylan. They get the coordinates, all that stuff, and that's how that hyperspace ring looking ship thing blasts off. So, and then he destroys it. So that's it. So what's about to happen? I don't know. That's going to be crazy. One thing I really want to know is, how did Baylan survive Order 66? All these Jedi are surviving Order 66. So Order 66 didn't do its job. And I don't think George Lucas would agree with that. George Lucas wanted Ahsoka to die in Order 66. So all these Jedi popping up out of nowhere. I'm curious to see if they're going to explain how Baylan survived Order 66. So that was good. I was happy to see that. That Sabine wasn't that morally perfect type character, you know? We've been seeing a lot of that in Star Wars. And it made sense. It fell in line with her motivation. So we then transition over to Ahsoka. That transition with the water, that was cool. That really did look cool. And we see like the ripples around Ahsoka's head, and she wakes up in the world between worlds. And I gotta say, the world between worlds looks really good. It looks really good. It looks better than I thought it was going to look. And you see a figure behind her. And obviously, it's Anakin Skywalker. And you're hearing the voice. You heard the voice, him calling her Snips and all of that. When me and my brother both saw that, we were like, we were leaning forward, looking at the screen, and we were like, "Whoa!" But then when they zoomed into Anakin, I was like, dang it, because he didn't look good, man. They did de-age him, unlike Kenobi. They did de-age him, but they did too much. They did too much of the de-aging. He looked like he had some sort of beauty filter, like completely painted on his face. It was too much. Whatever that effect was, it was too much. And then the episode cuts right there. Boom. So that episode was way too short, man. Especially that, like, come on. You can't leave me on that, dude. You can't leave me on that. Hopefully the next episode, Anakin looks better. I'm really curious to see what's going to happen in the world between worlds with Ahsoka and Anakin. That conversation, what are they going to talk about? I'm interested. I will say, no way do I think that Anakin is going to be on the level as he was in the prequel trilogy, meaning being in character, the acting, not because of Hayden Christensen, but I don't trust the directors, I don't trust the writers. Because we saw issues in Kenobi the same way, right? I was watching Tales of the Jedi again just recently. Do you mean to tell me that the same Dave Filoni that did that is responsible for this Ahsoka show? The two are not even on the same level. Tales of the Jedi is leagues superior to Ahsoka. There's got to be something going on here. Either Dave Filoni is a hit or miss here and there. I don't know, maybe he's having trouble with live action, or Disney's messing with him. Disney is interfering. Something is going on, man. So again, my hopes aren't high, but I am curious, and I'm curious to see what's going to happen between the two. Hopefully, he looks better in the next episode, because the de-aging wasn't that great. I don't know why they didn't use what they did for Luke Skywalker, because that progressively got better. In Boba Fett, he looked a lot better. So I don't know why they didn't do that for Hayden Christensen. I guess they didn't feel it was worth doing deepfake when they have the actor right there. With Luke Skywalker, it's not like they're using Mark Hamill. They're using a stand-in and then superimposing Mark Hamill's face, deepfaking Mark Hamill's face on the character. So here they actually have Hayden Christensen, and he looks relatively close to what he did in the movies, or whatever the time period that they're going for. So they just needed to use some CG and deepfake and de-age him a bit. I just wish the CG or the effect they use was of a higher quality, because it doesn't look that great in my opinion. So yeah, I thought this was the best episode of the show so far, but I won't go out there and say this is Star Wars. Star Wars is back. This is George Lucas Star Wars. We're here. Everything. I'm not gonna say all that. This was the best episode of the bunch. It was decent. Nowhere does it touch George Lucas Star Wars. It's not there. It's not on that level at all, okay? That's my opinion. But let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. What do you guys think about Ahsoka Episode 4? What do you guys think about the show so far? And I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.